What's up, guys? I'm going to just do a quick recap of William Zepeda's destruction of Giovanni Cabrera tonight. Stops him in 3 rounds. And listen, William Zepeda is a beast. This guy can clearly, is capable of easily throwing over 1,000 punches a fight. And he's just a nightmare for guys that just can't deal with pressure. He's definitely right now one of the best pressure fighters out there. Definitely probably one of the best, if not the best, at 135 as far as just bringing pressure and volume. Okay. Not the greatest defender. Not really tested as far as seeing how good his chin would hold up. That's just pretty much the only question about Zepeda. He is not a defensive fighter. He is straight volume, a puncher, and he's a pretty big guy at lightweight. But the only question I have at this point is, how does his chin hold up against some of the bigger punches out there? And we just gotta wait and see. But Zepeda is definitely a guy that I think on any given day he might be out of the top 10 guys that's up there. He might be able to beat 8 of them, at least. He might be with his style. Just got to see how his chin holds up when he fights like maybe a Isaac Cruz or a Tank Davis. I'm not sure if those fights would ever happen. But for the punchers, I think the one thing I have, and like I question him, Hesta, Maxi Hughes, Cabrera, Joseph Diaz, Rene Alvarado. These guys are not punchers, so he's been able to railroad through them because, he's the bigger guy with the bigger punch and the higher volume. But I still question whether or not he can deal with the punchers, or he can deal with a guy that's like a Shakur Stevenson that's able to neutralize their opponents with the defense and the counters, and make them really, really pay. Cabrera and Hughes just weren't the guys. But what I will say is this: in this fight, going into the fight, I didn't think it would be this easy. I saw Cabrera fight that one time when he fought Isaac Cruz. I did a little homework on Cabrera before that fight, but there wasn't much there. He's a southpaw guy, not a big puncher, doesn't have a lot of knockouts. So, I wasn't expecting him to give Cruz so many problems in that fight. His movement, the way he was able to smother Isaac Cruz's offense was very, very good. I thought he did good. Some people even think that Cruz lost the fight. It was a split decision. Pretty controversial win for Cruz. Probably the worst that we've ever seen Isaac Cruz since he's fought at the highest level. But here in this fight, going into this fight, I thought that Cabrera was going to do better than Maxi Hughes. I did rewatch the Maxi Hughes fight, and I did, compare. It's an easy way to compare because Hughes is also a good boxer that's a southpaw. And I thought that Cabrera was going to move a little bit more. I thought he was going to smother Zepeda's punches a little bit more, which he did in the very first round. The first round I did give to Cabrera because it seemed like it seemed like Zepeda just really couldn't get off because he was doing that. Cabrera was doing that pity pat punch style, landing, smothering, and then moving. You know what I mean? And Zepeda just couldn't get his offense going, his volume going in the very first round. But he started to pick it up and become a little bit more aggressive in the second. And I felt like Cabrera, just like Maxi Hughes, made a mistake by trying to trade and outthrow or at least match the volume of Zepeda, which is a huge mistake. Maxi Hughes did it. Maxi Hughes had success in the first couple rounds because he was letting his hands go, and him being a better boxer and a better defender, it seemed like he was having success. But Zepeda is the puncher, and every punch that he lands equals 2 or 3 of your punches, So Cabrera fell into the trap, started moving less, started to, not really smother the punches as much. And he started to pay and take a lot of damage. And he got stopped in the third round. When he went down, He tried to jump up at the last second. You know, it didn't work out for him. He was hurt. You could tell he was taking a lot of hits before the knockdown, and that was it. It was a wrap. Zepeda is a beast, and at this point, he is one of the top contenders, the top 5 fighters at 135 right now. And I really don't want to see any of him fight anyone. If it's not Lomachenko, if it's not Baranchyk, if it's not Frank Martin, if it's not Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, if it's not one of these guys, I don't want to see the fight because I already know what he can do. I already know what he could do. You know, I don't want them to pull out George Kambosos. I hope at some point someone can secure a fight with him and secure it by paying one of these top fighters to get in the ring with him and get it on. You know, whether it's Shakur or whoever. I want to see Zepeda step up and fight for a title, if not fight with one of the other top contenders. Isaac Cruz is Isaac Cruz is at 140 right now. But these are fighters that I'm all with. You know, don't bring Rolly Romero back around. You know what I mean? I don't want to see those kind of fights. And I know they fight on different platforms and stuff. But I'm just throwing out names to give you examples of what I don't want to see. I think it's time for William Zepeda to really step up. These guys are good, and they've looked good against other opponents. Hughes looked good against George Kambosos. Thought he won the fight. Cabrera arguably won the fight against Isaac Cruz. But we don't want to see any more common opponents that look good against other top contenders. I want to see a real fight against a real top contender at the division next. And hopefully they can work that out. But William Zepeda has proven to me that he's a top guy. And the only thing that we haven't seen is how well does his chin hold up. I've seen him hurt and rock before. How well does his chin hold against another puncher? And can he be neutralized by a good boxer like a Shakur Stevenson or like a Lomachenko or something like that? All right. But anyway, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I would love to see him fight Baranchyk. I think he would beat Denis Baranchyk, in my opinion. You know, I know Denis is he's a great amateur and he's a champion now and all that. That's good. But I think that Zepeda would beat him. But that would be a good fight to see. You know, I don't know what's going to happen with Shakur. You know, he won tonight. He's not with Top Rank anymore. So he's going to be open to go where he pleases, depending on who signs him and what they offer. All right. But anyway, that's just a quick review. It's not much to recap. Zepeda destroyed him, and it's a wrap. All right. So anyway, subscribe to the channel, man. I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good night. Peace.